going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another PU match. I am in the same team as I was in the previous video just because these dudes are pretty fun. But yeah, so this one's against Drew from Twitter, and looking at the team preview, he's got some pretty interesting Pokemon you don't see a whole lot. The Chatot, potential Nasty Plot Sweeper, along with the Blossom could Quiver Dance, but overall he's got a pretty solid squad over there, and let's go ahead and just jump right into the battle. Alright, so I wasn't really sure what he was going to want to lead off with. I'm just going to throw out the old Electric Zebra. Seems like a safe option to get a nice little Volt Switch, as he actually ends up leading off with his Togedemaru. So the Electric Mouse comes out, and it's like we got a nice little Electric Zoo exhibit going on here. But I'm going to go right for the Overheat on the turn 1. I don't want a Volt Switch because I know this thing's probably going to U-turn. And it turns out that the slower Pokemon actually gets the momentum when both people are going for the pivot from the start, because if I went for the Volt Switch, he would be able to U-turn on whatever I bring in, and then be able to get a matchup accordingly. So he does go for the U-turn, and now he's going to bring in the Heat more. Obviously, freaking Zapadash here can't do much because that special attack drops, so I'm going to Volt Switch, and I do have a couple options for this Heat more. I decide to go right into my Bibarel, hoping that he's going to go for the Flamethrower, bring in the old Angry Beaver, but he makes a nice play. I'm assuming predicts this and goes right for the Giga Drain, which is actually going to knock me out, which I was kind of surprised about, but that caught me off guard, and that was a nice play on his end. So I lose my Bibarel early, which is unfortunate, so no more Sweeper for me, and it looks like he got lucky because he doesn't have to face the wrath of Swords Dance Bibarel. So now I'm just going to bring in my freaking Hitmonchan. I'm just going to go right for the Drain Punch. I know that I can take any attack this thing wants to throw at me, and Drain Punch isn't easy to hit KO, as he actually ends up going for the Giga Drain again. I'm not really sure there. He is Life Orb, so he's not actually choice, but one more Drain Punch is going to be able to take this thing out. I am actually just going to play it safe, considering I've already lost my Bibarel. I don't want to make any risky moves here. I'm just going to go right for another Drain Punch, as he is going to switch into the Grand Pull. That is a pretty obvious switch, and I was going to make a double switch there, but I didn't want to risk it, so I just play it safe. This thing comes in, he intimidates me, and I just punch him right in the old jaw. Not going to do a whole lot of damage after the Intimidate, unfortunately. And at least, though, Hitmonchan's looking pretty damn healthy after this leftover recovery, and I do have to get the hell out of here because there's nothing I can do to this thing. So I do actually have a great answer to all of his physical attackers, and that is going to be my Gourgeist. So an important thing to note about this match is that he has two Pokemon that can take care of Gourgeist, and the rest are pretty much walled by it, and that is his Chatot and his Heatmore. So my main objective is to kind of just play around those threats and make sure that Gourgeist stays healthy, because he does really well against the majority of his team here. So I take that play rough really nicely, and I don't expect this Grand Bull to stay in, but I am just going to go right for the Will-O-Wisp in case. It is going to hurt whatever it comes in, but he decides to go into the Togedemaru. That's not really too bad. He doesn't really mind the burn all that much, but I do connect on it, and this thing isn't going to be around for too much longer, although I don't really know what this thing wants to do against me, so I do want to end up switching out my Pumpkin here. As like I said, this thing is just honestly super useful. It's always been really good in PU, but especially lately it seems like this thing's just been putting in the finest of work. So Togedemaru's over there getting hurt by his burn, and I am going to go ahead and switch here. I decided to go into my Zebstrika on the off chance that he hits me with an electric attack, but he's going to turn out to just go for the Encore there. So he's not going to Encore anything, as I did switch out there, and this is perfect because now I can just go for a nice little Volt Switch, hope that he ends up switching out so I can get a matchup, or either way, it should do enough to knock this thing out. So I go for the Volt Switch, and I forget that Togedemaru is just absolutely thick as hell. He's able to live that really nicely, unfortunately, and this I now have to switch into my Hitmonchan here, as he ends up going for the U-turn. So that really does kind of suck, because this is going to allow him to bring right back in that Grand Bull, who is an absolute bully to Hitmonchan, and it's just no fair. He's fucking about to steal my lunch money and knock my books down. It's just a terrible matchup for me. So this thing comes in, intimidates me, and Hitmonchan does not really want to be caught red-handed against this Grand Bull, so I am going to have to switch out here, and the obvious play is just back into the Gourgeist, but I've got to think about the mind games here. He knows that I'm probably going to go into Gourgeist, but I do decide to just do it anyway. It just seems like the safest option, as he is actually just going to stay in and goes for the play rough. So he knows that I got the freaking Gourgeist that plays perfectly against his Grand Bull, but he's got to just be able to catch it on a time that I overpredict, or somebody's going to make a misplay there. But the play rough not going to do a whole lot of damage to me. I'm sitting at about half health, and I decide to go right for the Leech Seed here, as he's going to switch into the Heatmore. So this thing comes in, as the Leech Seed's going to land on it, luckily. Unfortunately, he is going to be able to outspeed me and just be able to knock me out with a Flamethrower, but I do get that Leech Seed, which is nice, because after this leftover recovery and that nice little sapling, I'm going to be in pretty decent health. I do actually have Synthesis on this thing, so Gourgeist is not going to be going down anytime soon. So now I'm just going to go ahead and switch into my Cradilly. My thought process here was that I know I'll be able to take a Flamethrower, or actually Heat Wave in this case, and then after the Life Orb recoil, the Leech Seed should be able to take this thing out. So I eat that up because Cradilly's specially defensive as titties, and after this leech seed here, you'll see that the Heatmore actually lives it with like 1 HP, and I was like, well, hot damn. So I know that these things do generally carry Focus Blast for coverage, but it's looking like I still should be able to live it. As he fires that off, he doesn't miss it, luckily for him, and this allows me to go ahead and just set up some Stealth Rock, as he's actually just going to kill himself to the Life Orb damage there. So I get up my Stealth Rock, which is nice. Going to go ahead and limit the switches there and just kind of whittle things down and make it easier in the long run. So Cradilly did get them rocks up, but I did pay the price because now I'm pretty much in range for anything else to take me out. So he's now just going to go right back into the Grand Bull, who's still chilling at full health, but he gets hurt by a little bit of Stealth Rock there. And here I just decide to stay in and just go for the Toxic on the off chance he might go for something weird, but he's just going to finish me off with the Play Rough, and I do kind of just have to sack off Cradilly there, but at least I did my job. I got the rocks up, and I mean, I still would be nice to have around for stuff like his Chatot, but not too big of a deal, as this allows me a free switch right into the freaking Pumpkin again. So this is just a nice little rivalry here. This Gramble does not want anything to do with this Pumpkin, so here I'm just going to go ahead and do what Gourgeist does best, and that is be annoying as hell. So I'm going to fire off a nice little Leech Seed on the old Balloon Pikachu as this thing comes out. It actually does live the Stealth Rock, and the Leech Seed's going to happen, and then it's just going to die to the burn damage. So luckily that thing's finally gone, and don't have to worry about freaking Togedemaru anymore, as Gourgeist is meanwhile over here just still eating some leftovers and being a healthy pumpkin, you know, just having a swell time. So he used that thing as death fodder pretty effectively, as now he gets a free switch into whatever he wants, and he is going to go into something that can destroy this pumpkin as he brings in the Chatot. So if there's anything I know about battling against these parrot assholes in my years, is that they are going to set up nasty plots, and they're pretty damn scary. So I'm going to go ahead and switch directly into my my Zebstrika here, as I know he's going to nasty plot, and then I am going to be faster, so I can finish it off with a Thunderbolt, as he does go for the nasty plot there, which is nice, and I can go ahead and scare this thing out with a Thunderbolt now, because for some reason Zebstrika is just super speedy. So I do go for the Thunderbolt here, as now he's going to switch into Grand Ball for the freaking like 100th time. Luckily though, I'm going to be able to get some sizable damage here. Don't care about the Intimidate, as freaking Zebra doesn't afraid of anything, and so 2 Thunderbolts is going to be able to knock this thing out easy. I do get the para there, it doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of over here just getting some more Life Orb damage, but Zebstrika is really useful to have around. The freaking Chatot is one of the things that threatens Gourgeist, so it's going to be nice to keep the Zebstrika around, as one more Thunderbolt does take care of the Ground Bull, so it's good to see that thing finally gone, and things are finally starting to happen here, as now he's going to bring in the Lycanroc. So freaking blue Lycanroc comes out looking pretty damn badass, and I know that the Accelerock is happening, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch right back into Gourgeist, who is just literally the freaking star of this match here. So Pumpkin, the freaking king of ghosts, comes out, and I am going to frisk this thing and find its choice band, which actually is really useful information. The Accelerock isn't going to do too much damage to me, but it is useful to know that this thing is stuck on whatever move he decides to go for. So now he has to switch out because he can't do anything to Gourgeist, as now he's going to go ahead and switch into the Blossom, which we have not seen yet. Comes out hula dancing, doing her thing, as I am going to go for a Will-O-Wisp there. Didn't really have anything to lose. The only attacking move I have on this Gourgeist is Seed Bomb, so it's kind of just the best option just to go for the Will-O-Wisp, as I don't know what this thing wants to do. I'm assuming it's probably going to Quiver Dance or something. Do those things do that? I don't know. They're dancers, right? So, I don't know. But I am going to switch into Prostitute here, as it actually ends up going for the Infestation, which is not something you see all that often. And now my Jinx is infested, and that's just, it's not the kind of Jinx that you're looking for. But not too big of a deal, though, as I am going to be able to outspeed here and hit really hard with an Ice Beam. I assume it's probably going to take this thing out, but seeing as it was like Infestation, it's probably some type of different EV spread, because I go for the Ice Beam, and it actually ends up living it. And I was like, what the hell? In what world does that thing live that? But this allows him to go for a Moonlight. I'm not sure, but I mean, it's just going to give him half health, and then obviously the next Ice Beam is going to be able to take it out. I do take another turn of Infestation, but not too big of a deal, although Jinx is not too stoked about the fact that he does have that Accelerock on the Lycanroc there, so I get another Ice Beam off on this thing that is going to take out the Lilo with no Stitch. And this is, I'm expecting him to probably just switch into the Lycanroc, as that's what he's going to do. And I assume he's probably going to go for the Accelerock, either that, or he has Fire Fang for Gourgeist. So I decided to switch things up here, and I'm going to switch into my Hitmonchan. So the reason for that is if he goes for Accelerock, it's not going to hurt too bad, and I can kind of see what he's going to lock himself into, as he actually ends up locking himself into the Fire Fang, and that's actually a really good play on my end, because had I switched into Gourgeist, I think it would have been almost a 2-hit KO on the Fire Fang. So luckily, Red-Handed comes in to take those. I should have gone for the Mach Punch there. I kind of thought I was going to live a second one. I went for the Drain Punch, trying to hope to land that, but unfortunately not. As now I'm able to bring back in the Pumpkin, go ahead and frisk it again, just to make sure that Choice Band did not go anywhere. And I'm just going to go right for the Seed Bomb here, as he's going to end up switching back into the Chatot. I expected him to stay in and just go and see how much damage he could get with the with the Fire Fang, but he knows that the Chatot is going to live a Seed Bomb here, so that was a good play on his end. I can't really take an Air Slash, so I am going to be forced to switch here, as it actually ends up having a red card, and that kind of works in my favor because that's going to drag out Prostitute, and that's actually kind of funny. Red card doesn't really work out all that well a lot of the time, so that was actually pretty funny. I am going to be able to outspeed now with an Ice Beam, and that is going to be a dead little parrot, so sorry to do that to you, buddy, but it had to happen, as now he's able to bring in the Lycanroc, and this is his last Pokemon, so whatever he decides to lock himself into is going to be what he's stuck with. He goes for the Sucker Punch. That is going to take out Prostitute. But I do still have the old Ghost Pumpkin that's been causing this guy trouble this whole match. So all I gotta do is switch into this thing. I am gonna Will-O-Wisp it before I take a Sucker Punch just to kind of ensure that I'm able to live, even if it's a critical hit. So I go for that. I am gonna be able to land it, as the Sucker Punch is obviously gonna fail. He is Choice Banded, and that is pretty much gonna be the end of the match there because there's nothing this Lycanroc can do, especially Burnt. So I just gotta fire off a nice little Seed Bomb at this thing's face. And yeah, so this match was actually a great example of finding what breaks your opponent and then taking care of their threats that break that Pokemon before it can come in and just kind of run shop. So the Sucker Punch is going to do like nothing, and a Seed Bomb is going to take care of the Lycanroc. So that's the end of the match there, guys. Go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, or Gourgeist will haunt your dreams forever. Peace out.